Hello you guys, today we are talking all about Disney's Grand Floridian Resort. I am going to be sharing all of the pros and cons of this resort. We have stayed here twice now, so I'm very excited to share all of my thoughts. And if you stick around to the end of the video, I'm going to be answering a bunch of questions that you guys asked over on the community tab. So make sure to stick around and let's dive in. All right, let's jump right into it. We are going to start with the pros because I just love talking about the positives first. So the first pro of Grand Floridian is the location, of course. Obviously, this resort is one of the 3 monorail resorts, so you are right next to Magic Kingdom. That is the #1 pro of this resort, and you have a bunch of different transportation perks here. So the main perk of this resort location-wise is that walkway to Magic Kingdom. If you are walking at, I would say, a brisk pace, you could get to Magic Kingdom in about 15 minutes, depending on where your building is. If you incorporate walking across the resort as part of your walk to get to Magic Kingdom, it might take you 20 minutes, but overall, a 15-minute walk to Magic Kingdom is not bad. So in addition to that, you also have boat transportation to Magic Kingdom. So one thing to keep in mind with the boat, when you are leaving Grand Floridian, the boat will stop at the Polynesian and then it'll head over to Magic Kingdom. So your ride over there might be a little bit longer. Walking might be just a little bit quicker. I don't know, it kind of depends. And then when you are coming back to Grand Floridian from Magic Kingdom, the nice thing is that you'll go straight to Grand Floridian. So you kind of get both depending on which resort you're staying at, but it's one thing to keep in mind is that you do share a boat with the Polynesian. I don't really mind making the extra stop. It's just really beautiful being out there on the water and you have all the beautiful views. I mean, it's just a lovely boat ride. And of course, the last transportation perk of Grand Floridian is the monorail. So when you are leaving the resort going over to Magic Kingdom, the perk is that you are that very first stop. So it is a 5-minute monorail ride and it's really nice. The downside is at the end of the night, you have to make that big loop and you'll stop at Contemporary, TTC, then Polynesian, and then Grand Floridian. So one thing to consider when you are taking the monorail back to Grand Floridian, the ride will be just slightly longer. But again, you cannot beat being on the monorail no matter how long of a ride it is, whether it's 5 minutes or 15 minutes. I mean, amazing. And then you do have bus transportation to the other parks, including Disney Springs. And we'll talk more about the bus later on in this video, but that is how you would get to any of the other parks from Grand Floridian is the bus. The next pro to Grand Floridian is the dining. This resort probably has the most extensive high-end dining options here, but I still think it's great for families. So let me go through what some of the dining options are. The first restaurant is Victoria and Albert's. Of course, I had to mention this one because it is the bucket list restaurant. I mean, you will spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars to eat here. Maybe one day for a really special anniversary, Andy and I can experience this. This is a ball gown, red carpet kind of restaurant, but I did have to mention Victoria and Albert's is at the Grand Floridian. So if you want, I mean, a spectacular, beyond spectacular dining experience, you will find that at the Grand Floridian. The 2 signature restaurants here are Citricos and Narcoossee's. We've yet to dine at Citricos. I've heard incredible things. We've done Narcoossee's twice, once with our toddler, and we loved it both times. Their shrimp and grits is so good, as well as their shrimp pasta. Oh, everything about this restaurant is so good. The other dining options here, you did have 1900 Park Fare. It's currently closed. I don't know what they're going to do with it. If they're going to reopen it, if they're going to reimagine it, if it will stay closed forever. I really don't know, but there is another restaurant on the bottom floor. I just don't know what they're gonna do with it quite yet. You also have the Grand Floridian Cafe. This is also one of our favorites. This is a more casual style meal, very family friendly. Breakfast, lunch, dinner reservations are pretty easy to get here, especially last minute. We really enjoy popping over here on a Magic Kingdom day and just grabbing lunch, and then we'll head out for the afternoon. But this is a great spot for kids. And then you also have upstairs the Enchanted Rose. This is a cocktail lounge, but don't let that steer you away from taking your kids, because we found a little corner tucked away with some couches and chairs, and we brought my toddler's tablet and we let her play and just enjoy some downtime while my husband and I had a drink and a couple of little appetizers. It was a really great evening. So don't steer away from Enchanted Rose just because you have kids. It's very family friendly and it's a really great spot. And lastly, the quick service here is also a hidden gem, Gasparilla Island Grill. They have some fantastic options here. Of course, you'll find a lot of the standard Disney food, you know, chicken nuggets and pizza, but then you also have some other signature items here, different sandwiches and salads. So this is a really great lunch spot, and they also have breakfast, and then you can have dinner here late at night as well. So another great option if you're staying here. We've done their quick service several times, and it's a really great pit stop on your way to the walkway to Magic Kingdom. You can pop in and grab a coffee or a muffin or whatever on your way. Or if you're headed back from Magic Kingdom, this is a great spot to pop in for lunch as you're headed back to your room. So really great grab and go stuff here. We've really enjoyed Gasparilla Island Grill. The next pro to Grand Floridian is the pool. They actually have two main pools here, as well as a really amazing splash pad. This is probably one of my favorite pools out of all of the Disney resorts, but it's unassuming because of the size. The pool is pretty small actually. Even though the beaches pool is on the smaller side, this is where the slide is located, and then it's also zero entry, so it's really great for kids. And then this pool is also connected to the splash pad. So it's really nice that you can go back and forth, and then you have the beach pool bar kind of right in the middle. So I really love this location, and it's right next to the DVC Villas building. So really love this location. And then you also have the courtyard pool, which is on the other end of the resort. Well, it's kind of in the middle of the resort. So again, it's still a great location no matter where you're staying at this resort. The courtyard pool is really nice. It's a little bit bigger, but there's no slide or kids area here. It's really a short walk back and forth if you wanted to visit all of the pool areas. I mean, they're all just right there, so it's really nice. But the one thing I love about the courtyard pool is that the zero entry portion of the pool is huge. So this is a great spot for kids as well. And then the splash pad here is just incredible. It's themed to Alice in Wonderland, and it's just a really fun splash pad overlooking the beach and the water. You just have this beautiful view. And then right outside the gate is this sandy area where there's beach toys and little activities, and there's chairs for you to relax while your little one plays in the sand. And then you can head back into the splash pad. You're right there next to the beach's pool, right next to the beach's pool bar. So just this whole area is really, really fun with amazing views, and I really love the pool here, probably for the ambiance mostly, and it's just really, really nice. So love the pools here. That is a huge pro to this resort. The last pro to Grand Floridian is that you can rent DVC points here. So unlike value or moderate resorts where you would have to go through the Disney website, at Grand Floridian, you can rent DVC points. There's a DVC Villas building, and then they've recently added on more DVC resort studios in another building. So lots of options here for different room types, but I really love that there's a more affordable option to stay here, and we'll get into the price and all of that here in a minute, but I love that option. So it makes the idea of staying at Grand Floridian just a little more reasonable. Again, it's still gonna be more expensive than most all other DVC resorts, but the fact that you can get any kind of discount beyond what's on the Disney website is really nice. And then if you've seen any of my other videos, you know that we just love the DVC studios because you get that kitchenette. So I really enjoy that we have a refrigerator, we have a microwave, a toaster, especially when traveling with a toddler. It's really nice to be able to have that space for all of her snacks and lunches and breakfast foods, especially if you're traveling with a baby. It's just really nice having that extra little kitchenette space. And then you also have access to a 1 or 2 bedroom option as well, or a grand villa. So lots of options depending on your travel party, but again, I love that there's an option that you can stay in these studios and save a little bit of money by renting DVC points, and you don't always have to book through the Disney website to stay here. And if you do want to learn more about renting DVC points, I'll have my Disney Vacation Club playlist listed down below in the description box, so you can head over and check out those videos after you're done here. But I wanted to throw that in as well. If you are curious about DVC and how all that works, definitely check that out. All right, let's move on to the cons, because there are a couple couple of not so great things about this resort. So the first not so great thing is the price. I know we just talked about renting DVC points, but you're still gonna pay a pretty penny to stay here. So even with renting DVC points, it's still gonna be more expensive. But if you go through the Disney website, even during a discount, you will still pay anywhere from $600 to $1,000 a night to stay here, which is just so mind-blowing to me that people are spending $1,000 a night to stay here, depending on the room type, of course. You know, I mean, there's all different types of room categories. There's, you know, outer building standard views, there's theme park views, you can stay club level, there's deluxe room categories, you know, I mean, all different types of rooms, but generally speaking, you'll spend after tax anywhere between $600 to $1,000 a night. It's just so outrageous to me. I can't imagine ever spending $600, even $600 a night to stay here. That's just so crazy, but that's what the price is on the Disney website with the discount. And it's tough because I would say the majority of families are looking for ways to save money at Disney. They're looking to do Disney on a budget. And so it makes the idea of staying at a resort like the Grand Floridian feel a little more out of reach. So that's one of the cons of this resort. But again, with the price point, you're paying for the name of Grand Floridian. You're paying for the location, being in walking distance of Magic Kingdom, having spectacular fireworks views from this resort. You're paying for all of the amenities and the pools and the dining and just the overall ambiance of this resort. So it's just expensive, but that is why we have always rented DVC points to stay here. We can find rooms usually around $350 to $400 a night by renting points. These are usually for dedicated reservations because we're not usually putting in a resort request 11 months out. So with a dedicated reservation, sometimes you might pay just a little bit more per point to stay here, but to me, $400 a night sure beats $600, $700, $800 a night. So I still consider that a splurge, but it's still a little more affordable than going through the Disney website. So if you're able to splurge, definitely check out DVC Rental Store. I'll have my affiliate link with them listed down below. And if you want to learn more, again, I'll have that playlist of videos linked down below as well. But huge con of this resort is the price point. The other con to Grand Floridian is the bus transportation. This is awful. I mean, completely awful. And you'd think for the price point, the bus system would be just a little bit better. But if you are wanting to get to any other park other than Magic Kingdom, you have to take the bus. Well, apart from Epcot. So I'll share more about that here in a second. But with the bus system, if you are trying to get to Hollywood Studios, for instance, there is only one bus. So unlike other resorts where you would go down and find, okay, there's the little overhang where I would wait to get on the bus to Animal Kingdom. And then next one down is for Hollywood, or, you know, there's only one bus stop, so it can get very crowded. And the other con to the bus system, apart from just having that one little overhang and one little area for people to wait where it gets so crowded, especially early in the mornings, is that you share a bus with the Polynesian. So the bus is first gonna stop at Polynesian, pick up everyone there, and then they're gonna come over to Grand Floridian. So sometimes the bus is already very full, and it makes it really challenging to find a seat, especially if you have several kids and you have a stroller and all the things. You're getting onto a very crowded bus because they've already stopped at Polynesian. And then on the flip side to that, when you're leaving the park, the bus will first stop at Polynesian, drop everyone off there, and then they'll head over to Grand Floridian. So you have a little bit of a longer bus ride home just because it's making that first stop at Polynesian first, and then you'll head over to the Grand, but not a fan of the buses here. I really wish it had its own dedicated bus, and then I wish it had more space to actually wait to get on the bus. So not ideal when it comes to getting to Hollywood Studios or Disney Springs or Animal Kingdom. Let's talk about Epcot though. So you can take the monorail to Epcot. Let's talk about what that looks like. So you'll first get onto the monorail at the Grand Floridian. You'll stop at Magic Kingdom, then you'll stop at the Contemporary, and then you'll stop at the TTC. You will then exit that monorail and you will get into a new monorail line. Then you will get onto the Epcot monorail, and that is about a 15-minute ride over to Epcot. So the entire journey from start to finish could take anywhere from 30 to 40 minutes. So it's a little bit longer, but you would think, oh, I'm right on the monorail. You know, I can just zip right over to Epcot, but you would have to make all those stops first, exit the monorail at the TTC, and then get onto a new monorail line. So it does take a little bit of extra time, but you do have that monorail option to get over to Epcot. The other parks, you just have the horrible bus situation going on there. All right, let's move on to some of the questions that you guys asked. So I'll try to focus on questions that maybe I didn't touch on in the pros and cons portion. So let's jump into the questions. There were a couple questions of people asking about noise in the room. So this first one, how was the noise in the rooms? I've heard the walls are paper thin. So we have only stayed in the DVC Villas building, and we have never had an issue with hearing people in the hallway or in the room next to us. So we've never stayed in any of the other main buildings before, so that may be different, I'm not sure. But from our experience in the Villas building, we have never had an issue. Is it worth the cost? It's been a dream to stay there since I was little, just trying to justify it. Also, is it better for a couples trip or family with young kids? That's so tough. I mean, personally, I think it's worth it, but we are resort people. Like, we really enjoy deluxe resorts. We really enjoy spending a lot of time at the resort. So I would say if you are a park heavy family and you don't plan on spending a lot of time at the resort, maybe you just get up and you grab a quick service breakfast and then you come back, late after fireworks, this probably isn't gonna feel worth it for the amount of money you're spending. But if you're like us and you factor in a pool day, you have slower mornings, you don't quite rush out the door to get to the parks, you come back early for bedtime, and I would say it's worth it. I really love being at deluxe resorts, and we spend a lot of time at our resorts. So if you're like that, again, I think it's worth it. And then when it comes to whether this resort is a couples only kind of trip or for families, it's really both. I mean, I've taken my toddler both times that we've stayed at this resort, and we've really enjoyed having her there. Again, we loved the splash pad like we talked about earlier, and all of the dining options and being able to walk over to Magic Kingdom. I think it's so worth it when you have kids, because most likely if you have little kids, you're spending more time at Magic Kingdom. So that location is really, really great, not having to get on a bus and head over to Magic or anything like that. You're just right there. So I think it's great for both, but we've really enjoyed bringing our toddler as well. How was the massage that you got done there last year? Can you explain more about the spa, what it has to offer, and your experience? So they do have a full service spa here. So this spa is absolutely amazing. I got to do a solo trip about a year ago, and I factored in a spa morning for myself. It was such a treat. I actually have a full video documenting the entire experience, and I share everything that the spa has to offer. So I will link that video down below if you want to check that out. But if you're doing a solo trip, or maybe mom, if you can slip away for a morning and let dad take the kids over to Magic Kingdom or something, the spa is absolutely amazing. But definitely check out that video if you want to hear more about the spa and my experience. Things to do here with a toddler. My husband and I have a DVC stay there in September with my 2-year-old. So the best things to do with a toddler here, I think I mentioned, already the splash pad, and then of course you have that beach area with the sand and the sandcastle toys. So really great little afternoon break if you have some extra time at the resort. That's a really great way to spend that time. Another thing that I really love is they do, and other resorts do this as well, but it just feels extra magical at Grand Floridian, I don't know, but all of the resort activities that happen here. And you can actually, when you arrive at the resort, you can look at the activity schedule and see what's going on every single day. But they normally do different activities outside, like tie-dyeing t-shirts, or I don't know, different things like that. They have the campfire going on where you can do s'mores down by the water. They also have glow nights. This was going on one of our nights that we were there with our toddler. This was so fun. It was like a glow party, and they did all kinds of little games. And then right after the glow party was done, down by the marina and the boat area, right across from the quick service, they have the fireworks music piped into that area. So everyone kind of pulls up a chair and you can see the castle all lit up. I mean, it's just the perfect view with the music and everything. So that was a great spot to watch the fireworks with our toddler. And again, if you've seen any of my other vlogs, you know that we love giving my toddler lots of room to dance and just kind of run around and play during the fireworks. And so we're not just shoulder to shoulder with other families. So I really love watching the fireworks down there. It's a really great spot, especially if you have little kids. Is it a good resort day resort? 100%. If I could spend any resort day at Disney World, it would be Grand Floridian. I love the pools. I know I mentioned earlier, best pools, my favorite pool out of all the Disney resorts. I just love the atmosphere and everything about it. Yes, 100%. Best resort for a resort day. What room types can you see the fireworks from? Is it only park view rooms? So of course, theme park view rooms are gonna be the most expensive, but we have actually stayed in a standard view deluxe studio where we were able to see the fireworks from. I'll see if I can find a video from our balcony when we stayed there, but we would just look off to the right, kind of around the balcony, and we had a full view of the fireworks. We couldn't see the castle or anything like that. It was a little obstructed, but we were able to see the fireworks from our standard view room. So there are probably other rooms around the resort that have a similar view, even if you book a standard view or a garden view. But I would recommend looking on touring plans. They actually have a room finder feature where you can click on different room categories and see the view from the balcony. And okay, this is kind of embarrassing, but I just do this for fun. Even if I'm not staying at this resort or have a trip coming up at this resort at all, I will just click on different room types and see what the view is, because it's really fun to see what other people's views have been from their Disney vacation. So if you are a total Disney resort nerd like me, then you will love looking at the touring plans room finder. But that is a great way to see other rooms and what their view was. And they'll even leave comments at the bottom saying, you know, this ended up being a fireworks view, or, you know, oh, this was a horrible view. You know, it says this and we actually saw this. So definitely check that out. That's probably the best way to figure out which rooms are gonna be fireworks view rooms without the theme park view price tag. Okay, next question, monorail or walkway to Magic Kingdom, easiest way, can you push a double stroller onto the monorail? Yes, you can push a double stroller on the monorail. You do not have to break down your stroller, but I don't know, that's tough. I mean, personally, I just like walking. I feel like I have more control over how quickly I get to Magic Kingdom, so I'm always gonna go the walkway. But if you feel like the monorail would be easier on your kids, maybe you have kids that are just out of the stroller phase and you want to minimize the walking, just go for the monorail. It's probably gonna be about the same time. You know, monorail might get there a little bit quicker, but I always like the walkway. Grand Floridian versus Riviera. That is a really tough one. Both have the atmosphere and just the elegance going for it. So it really would come down to which transportation perk do you think you would use the most? Are you gonna spend more time at Magic Kingdom, or do you see yourself utilizing the Skyliner because you'll be at Epcot or Hollywood Studios more? So that's really where I would make that decision, because I feel like price point, it's very similar. Amenities, you might have a little bit more at Grand Floridian just dining wise, but Riviera is so good and it's so beautiful, so luxurious. So I would make that decision based on transportation and what parks you feel like you're gonna be at the most. Is it worth the increase in price versus staying at Bay Lake Tower? I think yes. Again, just because of the amenities and the atmosphere, everything about Grand Floridian is gonna be elevated far more than Contemporary and Bay Lake Tower. I would always pick Grand Floridian over Bay Lake Tower every time. Which location is better, the OG DVC building or the new remodeled building? So there are now two DVC buildings. You have the original DVC Villas building. It has its own check-in desk, which is really nice, a beautiful lobby, and then it has its own dedicated parking lot, which is really, really nice that you can pull right up. It has its own overhang, so it almost feels like its own separate mini resort within the Grand Floridian. The other DVC building is at Big Pine Key, which is more centrally located at the resort, but it's a little bit of a further walk from the parking lot and the main check-in area. So it just kind of depends on what your priority is. If you would prefer the location of kind of being near the spa and having its own parking lot, you're closer to the walkway to the Polynesian, which right now is currently under construction, but in the future, you do have a walkway over to Polynesian, I should mention. And then the DVC Villas building does have a covered walkway over to the main building and the main lobby. So whenever you do need to go over for the Monorail or the Enchanted Rose or, you know, whatever, Grand Floridian Cafe, you have that covered walkway. So that's really nice as well. But if you feel like you would enjoy being more centrally located in the resort and you like the resort studios better, they're a little more updated. They're, I mean, just so beautiful. But if you feel like that's more of a priority for you, then I would go with that DVC building. I hear Ellie screaming upstairs. She's supposed to be napping. Okay, next question, and we're gonna wrap this up. What are the differences between the resort studios and the deluxe studios? So there are quite a few differences actually. So we'll start with the deluxe studios. You have a walk-in shower and a sink on one side, and then you have the toilet and then the tub shower combo on the other side. And then there's a door that shuts in between, and then two doors on the outside that close off. So essentially you could have two people showering at the same time to get ready. And it's really nice if you have a baby or toddler and you can put their pack and play in one of those sections, and then you still have the other bathroom section to get ready. So that has been a huge perk for us, and one of the main reasons that we've stayed in the deluxe studios here, because we really wanted that split bathroom option. The other difference is that in the deluxe studios, you have a queen bed and then the pull down Murphy bed. You also have a full kitchenette. So the resort studios do not have a full kitchenette. They also don't have a refrigerator. At the resort studios, you just have a beverage cooler. You do get a microwave, but there's no toaster. And there's no sink. So a little bit smaller, and then you just don't have quite as much. So again, another reason that we've always picked the deluxe studios over the resort studios, because we love the split bathroom, and then we love the full kitchenette where we get an actual refrigerator, and then we have a toaster, and then we also have the microwave. So those are the main differences. But again, with the resort studios, you just don't have that split bathroom, and then you have a smaller kitchenette space. So it's more styled to a regular Disney hotel room. I guess the only added in bonus is that you have a microwave. I think that's really the only thing that sets apart the resort studios from other just standard rooms at the Grand Floridian. So that's why we've always gone with the deluxe studios. We just, for all the reasons I mentioned, it's just a better fit for our toddler and our family, and we just really love that style of room. All right, well, that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any other questions about Grand Floridian, leave them down below in the comments. I would love to keep chatting with you. And if you are not already subscribed, I would love for you to stick around for more Disney content, more resort reviews, and lots of Disney vlogs. So thank you guys again, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.